Welcome in. It is day 68, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. Today, we're going to be jumping back into a game we've already talked about once before, but that next stage up. The initial game, I said, was more for beginners to come into the craft, whereas this next one up is a little bit more of a experienced players type game. I definitely think beginners can enjoy the game, but it's not the one I would come in on. That game is Queen Domino. Queen Domino has all of the traits that King Domino brought. It has the idea of setting up your 4 different players to choose from the 4 options of the different dominoes to put on your board. Based on whichever one you take, which goes from the lowest number to the highest, decide your player count order for the next round, and you continue to play like this round after round, essentially meaning if you want to risk it and go for something really powerful, you're likely going to be the person who's going to have to take last choice the next round, and it's going to take away from the chances of you being able to constantly hit those really powerful ones. Specifically being that the caves tend to be the strongest. Now, Queen Domino brings in a bunch of additional aspects to this. You have now the option of a player board up top that shows individual tiles. There's a new tile that's been added to the board. These are red tiles. They're construction tiles. So when you make them, they aren't anything initially, but they are places you can build on. So now you can go up top and you can spend money that you're gathering in the game to try and buy spots, add them to your board, and see how that affects it when it comes to what are you going to get for bonuses? Are you going to get extra money? Are you going to get extra victory points? Are you getting the crowns? Are you trying to get more knights or castles? What are knights and castles, you ask? Well, this game has a way to get money. Part of that is taxes. So you'll have spots on the board that will say, hey, you get a knight. And now when you cash that knight in, it's going to basically activate a tax activation for you, meaning you're going to get whatever is counted for taxes will get paid out to you right then. You also have castles. Same concept. Now the difference with this being, there are 2 mega powerful figures for the board. The dragon and the queen. The dragon's optional. You don't have to use it, but the idea for the dragon would be, hey, I'm not trying to build in my kingdom, but I know you're trying to build in your kingdom. So when I see something come up top that's really powerful, I'm going to spend my money to pay for a dragon attack, have him burn down that village, and now he stays in its place. And when the whole round is finished and we're resetting, the dragon returns, everything shifts, and a new building comes out for option. But that's a great way to make it so that you don't have to be able to build to stop an opponent from getting an extremely powerful spot. The dragon's okay. What's more interesting in this game is the queen. Whoever has the most of the castles gets the queen. In order to take it, you have to surpass them. You cannot even them, you have to go beyond them. The queen is going to help out when it comes to, during the game, activation for taxes and such as that. What's more important about the queen, though, is that when everything is finished, whoever owns the queen, you will count up whatever section of your board has the most individual squares within it. Not the most victory points, not the most knights, none of that. If you have a spot where there are 12 desert touching and a spot where there are 13 water touching, the 13 water is the most. And the queen will count as an additional crown for that section. So it's a really great piece to throw in there because you know whatever you've put the most together of, you're getting a big point outage because of the queen. So you're going to play through this game. You're going to be slowly doing everything you really did in the initial, just with these extra aspects really throwing things off. Because you can now combine this with King Domino, you can now play a much larger kingdom if you want. Normally, in a 4-player game, you play 5 by 5. And if you have it, say, 2-player, you do 7 by 7. Well, now, if you want, you can play 4-player, combine the 2 games, and do 7 by 7. So that's pretty strong. Let's jump into the game itself, though. Let's talk about the 7 aspects that I judge games by and see what you think. Up first, art. The art of this game is really nice. I think they continued on what King Domino had done. They did a slightly bigger box, really nice art, same style as before. They've added some new pieces with some pieces inside with the, the queen, with the dragon, with these new parts that you can add. I really like the art. I think it sells not only the theme and the game, but the age range you're looking for. We're trying to invite young kids to play. We're trying to invite beginners to play. This is not meant to be a scary game. This is not to look like a Scythe, which is clearly not inviting to a beginner player or to a kid. This is a game that says, come on over, let's play. But it's still got that aspect of the medieval feel, and it's just tile placement. So experienced players might like it too. I really think that the art is inviting to all. It's a big thumbs up. Continue with that, you still have your fantastic components. What did the components do? The components keep those dominoes that are just really nice. They look like something that you think when you're like popping them out when you first get it, that it would like tear, but I've seen no proof of any tears on any of it. It's held up nicely. I've owned the game for a few years. I think they look really good. I enjoy the fact that now we have a bunch of these little castle and knight meeples, and they're wood and they're well put together. They're great. You also have a meeple for the queen, a meeple for the dragon. Everything is really good quality in this game. It's a thumbs up there. Your price. This one bumps it up a little bit from what the King Domino was. You know, it's a bigger game. It's a $40 range. And I think for what this game is, it's worth that money. When you're talking about King Domino, that being more in that like 20 to 30 range, you know, it's a slightly smaller game with a lot less to do. This is the same exact game, only it comes with a lot more. And it can be used both as a standalone and an expansion since you can combine the games. I think that the $40 is completely worth what you're getting here because you're getting a game, you're getting a better game than before, and you're getting an additional to that old game. So it's not like you have to go, oh, well, get this one, I guess, but $40 to just get the same game? No, because you can combine them. So it is an expansion. So big thumbs up on the price. Difficulty. The difficulty is, I don't think, overwhelming. I think that there's enough here, like that the regular game went on, where it's pretty simple. Okay, I picked this one. I'm trying to make my sections. I'm trying to get the crowns. Yes, now there's a little bit of money aspect. There's a little bit of, you know, judging your different areas for tax, judging your areas to try to get the queen, long-term planning. But at the end of the day, it's still just it's your turn, pick a spot, and you're done. I don't think this is one that a kid or a beginner would get lost on. They may get near the end and be a little confused why they lost by a lot of points and have to be explained, oh, well, you weren't paying attention to taxes. But that's a simple fix. I think worst case scenario, somebody plays once or twice and then they're fine. It's a thumbs up on difficulty. Replayability. This is one that I enjoy to play a few times in a row. I think this is a game that easily you can pull it out, and if you want to play 2-player, you can fly through this game in under half an hour. If you want to play this 3 or 4-player, you know, it's still about, 45 minutes area. And when you're done, you might say, let's just play it right away again. You know, I play a lot of the King Domino on Board Game Arena. I wish Queen Domino was up there because I would prefer to play this one. But, I play that a bunch of times in a row. And I play that multiple times in a week. And I think that the same aspects go for this. I think this is a game that you can get out there pretty easily. And even though I don't play this with my friends on Monday nights, I think it's only because I don't host. I don't bring games with me unless it's specifically requested. We have the game we choose for the week, and that's what we do. So if it was me hosting, I think it'd be easier to say, hey, somebody shut up, let's pull this game out. Or, everybody's leaving and somebody's like, oh, it's only 9:30. And I go, oh, let's play a game of Queen Domino. I don't mind being up another 30, 40 minutes. But it's just because I don't host it that doesn't happen. But I think the replayability is there. I think it's definitely thumbs up. Your keys to victory. This one has a lot more than the first game. You can still do what you did before. I want to focus in all on one area, and I'm going to try to get as much of the woods as I can get with every crown possible, huge points. I'm going to focus on getting multiple areas and just making sure I get balanced amount. It's 5 points here, 10 points there, 15 here. I'm going to try to get every crown possible, low score of the game. Those are all there still. But now you have the option of, I'm going to focus in and try to get that queen. And I'm going to keep on getting more of these castles, and I'll get the bonuses that give me victory points for castles. And I'll make sure that by the end of the game, I'm getting a bunch of points for the castles that earn me the queen, and I'll make sure that queen has a big section that's where all of my, I'm going to keep taking the first spot over and over to try to get as much woods or water or desert together so she can be worth 15 at the end. Or I'm going to go all in on the money, and I'm going to keep on getting more and more knights and taxing and building up my money because that money is going to pay out at the end as points. There are options here. It's a thumbs up when it comes to that. Unique. This is a tough one. I mean, this game's been on a run right now. It's definitely scoring higher than I even thought I would be scoring it today. But is it unique? Half of the game clearly isn't. Everything about how you get your tiles, how you place them out there, how you're building your points up. All of that is King Domino. But then there's this new side. There's the getting of the queen. There's the putting out of the castles. There's the taxing. There's the knights. There's the putting out an empty lot and then buying it and building it, or burning down somebody's future lot by using the dragon. Is it unique? I think this borders. And to be fair, if it's going to border, I have to give it the thumbs down, because I don't want to go just willy-nilly handing out every thumbs up I can to a game. I have to try to be really, standoffish and judge this as fair as I can. So if I'm that close, I'm going to call it a thumbs down. But I would say that this is very close. Of all my thumbs downs, this is the one that is the closest where I go, is it? There's a lot more game there than there was in the original. It's just there's too much of the game that's being replayed. And at the end of the day, when I think about it, I go, if I really want to play this game, I have to judge it on my opponent. Is my opponent newer? I'll play King Domino. Is my opponent a little bit newer? A little bit more experienced? I'm going to go with Queen Domino. And I think that having that really kind of backs me out of saying, no, I could choose either one. So it's not that unique. But I would point out there is going to be a third eventually on this channel. I haven't played, I do not own it, but there's a King Domino Origins game. I heard it's the hardest of the three, and I heard it's a very big change up from these. So I'm hoping when I get my hands on that game, that'll prove to me to be the unique one of the group. Overall, what do I think? I think this game is a must play. I think that this game and its grouping is a must own. If you own King Domino, get Queen Domino. It's still great. It's an expansion. It works fantastic. I think that this is a game that everybody should really have as an option there for their kids, for their families, for their friends, because you can play this with beginners and newbies. But don't be afraid of pulling it out with some of your experienced friends, because it's just as much fun with them. But that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys to get out there, try out the game for yourself, and come up with your own opinion. Well, this has been day 68. We have been speaking about Queen Domino, and you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description where I'll be adding in the Amazon link in case you want to get this game for yourself. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.